What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the opinionated hippie. Today, I'd like to discuss, praise, rave about Neil Young's Roxy Tonight's the Night Live. Elsewhere on this channel, I'm doing all of his studio albums in order, but I'm going to insert not all of them, but as many as possible, sort of the archival release series, stuff that was on archive, stuff that when he was releasing live concerts in the last like 10, 15 years or so. And this, I just did Tonight's the Night on the channel. So I thought I would do this 2018 release, Roxy Tonight's the Night Live. It was also released on Archives 2, the second of now three amazing archival compilations of previously released material, such as this, studio tracks, and then unreleased stuff, which in past years, like for volume one, was then later released separately. But anyways, this release is a solo release. It was in 2018. It is material comprised from a series of shows that Neil did with the band that he called the Santa Monica Flyers at the Roxy Theater in the Sunset Strip in LA. And Santa Monica Flyers is Talbot on bass, Molina on drums, Ben Keith on all these kind of slide pedal country-ish guitar type things, and then Niels Lofgren, Niels on guitar and piano, also background vocals and stuff like that. Really awesome, tight, amazing band. And these shows were essentially 9 of the songs from Tonight's the Night. There's no borrowed tune. There's no Come On Baby, Let's Go Downtown. There's no Lookout Joe, as those were recorded in different sessions than the rest of the songs on Tonight's the Night. And they had just finished recording Tonight's the Night, and then they played these shows, which were pretty much all the Tonight's the Night songs, in a different order, right? It's a different order than on the album. And then with usually a song or two as closers, Cowgirl in the Sand was possible. On this release, you get Walk On as your encore. Really upbeat, peppy version of Walk On. A much needed bright color after the intensity of the live version of Tonight's the Night. And then on Archives Volume 2, there was a bonus track, a live version of The Losing End from this same run. So, but that's not on the mainstream release or the non-archives release. Like I said, 9 songs, a lot of talking between the songs. Neil's in a very good mood. He keeps welcoming everybody to Miami. I'm thinking that maybe he welcomes people to Miami twice, which makes me think maybe those are from different shows, or he was just like, I don't know, he's just repeating the same thing over and over again. Most of the songs have a live edge to them that makes them, I'm going to say, better. Kind of reminds me of elsewhere on this channel. I'm currently diving into Bob Dylan and the band, the Complete 74 series that they released of all the available 74 recordings. And these tracks at their best remind me of the early shows on that tour, where the band knows the songs, but they're not quite sure yet how they're going to play them. There's a rawness to it, an edge to it, just this like vibrant urgency that, yes, they had already recorded the album, but now they're going out and actually playing these songs live, back to back. There's a raw enthusiasm in this that is just amazing. And maybe, I don't know what the recording conditions were, but maybe to actually do it together live in front of people and get this audience reaction just brings out this edge to these performances. A lot of tracks, you get a lot of intro tracks. So you get an intro, I think it's Bill Graham that introduces him. The first track is Tonight's the Night. Just sounds amazing. It's a little jammier. It's just a little more, little eyebrows all over the place. Neil sounds friggin' amazing on guitar. It's just some really, really, it's a great opener. A little looser, more ragged version than the version that's on the album. We get a little sound check, checking the instruments. They do a little roll out the barrel. That's its own track. Not the entirety of the track is that, but part of it. Then they do a Mellow My Mind. I would say this is the one song where I think the full band live version doesn't compare to the original. I think the original has an exhaustion to it that really makes it work. There's a desperation to that studio version, especially in his vocals, that he's trying to do the same thing vocally here, and the vocal performance is fantastic. But the one in the studio version almost seems desperate, just like he's struggling to get this recorded. This one just sounds like he's performing the hell out of the song. And I think the original, this is probably the one song I can truly say is like, I prefer the original. World on a String, I think I like. There's a little more heft to it. I think I like this version more. You get the band intro. He introduces the band. We get a speaking out. Nils, a lot more flavor, little tiny fills. His solo, shaking it up, changing things up a little bit. Really good intensity. Band is fantastic the entire time. We get a Candy Bar rap. Apparently, Candy Bar used to perform there. Don't know if I know who Candy Bar is, but Candy Bar used to perform at the Roxy. That is also something that Neil points out twice during the course of this. So we get that. It's its own track. We get an Albuquerque, which just, it's beautiful. It's perfect. Such an amazing, amazing song. Yeah, it just works. Works live. Fantastic. We get a rap about Perry Como. We get a nice New Mama. It's a nice acoustic little break. Sounds like New Mama. Absolutely perfect. We've evolved from the sort of rock version that was on Tuscaloosa, which were shows earlier in the year on the Harvest Tour. We now know what this song is because they recorded it in the studio, but we get a live version of that, which is different than the Tuscaloosa version. We get a David Geffen rap. We get an awesome Roll Another Number for the Road. That little country little, I remember that little country talk break in the middle. Fantastic song. Get Candy Bar rap too. We get a Tired Eyes. Tired Eyes is a little more stretched out. It's a little more, it's got a live intensity to it. Neil's really kind of leaning into this. Maybe he makes a mistake in it. I'm not sure if he's just trying to improvise and do something. Early in Tonight's the Night, the opening, there is after the first sort of section, when they transition to the middle part, I think Neil jumps in early on a lyric, or maybe one of the other vocalist does, and you can get that rawness. Tired Eyes also, even though, yes, they've performed these in the studio, right? We don't have a long history of these performing these songs live. There's something about Tired Eyes that really, really benefits from them, like this maybe little like not really practicing this live, this rawness to it. It's even more powerful than the studio version in a sad, in like not a good way, but the emotion that the song is going for. Tired, it just works amazing. And then right after that, they go into Tonight's the Night Part 2, which is just, it's an incredible burst of energy. Just like on the album version, they're leaving it all behind. It's out there. It's more intense. It's got a heavier stomp to it. Fantastic. And then the Walk On is the encore. It just sounds brighter. There's a little like, I think it's what Benny Keith is doing on guitar. It's a little bit more like upbeatness to it than the studio version. And the studio version is fantastic. But there's a little like, little pep in it. Like, hey, we made it through Tonight's the Night. Let's be happy. So that's pretty awesome. And that's the release. It's absolutely fantastic. I've done 2 live albums now. I've done this and I've done Tuscaloosa as far as the live stuff that's not in the later releases. And out of these 2, like it's pretty close, but out of these 2, I'm not sure which. I think I would put Tuscaloosa higher than this, just because the performances of Tonight's the Night are pretty true to the studio version. They're just better performed, just raw. But Tuscaloosa has like a Here We Are in the Years, has a nice out on the weekend, live out on the weekend. I think The Time Fades Away has a little more energy. Look Out Joe, the New Mama's That Rock version, and then an 8-minute Don't Be Denied. So yeah, it's close. Next time for the next live one, I'll actually put the list on the screen. But I'm going to say, just because, it's hard. I'm going to put Tuscaloosa just a little bit higher because it's more of a variety of songs, even though this is an absolutely fantastic listen. Yeah, if you're a big fan of Tonight's the Night and you have not heard this, it's a great 52 minutes of music, man. It's really good, or 50 minutes of music. It's really good. I enjoyed it. So yeah, that's all I got. Another great album. How long was it? When I'm looking at the wrong thing. It's not 50 minutes. Yeah, it is like 50 minutes. Yeah, 53 minutes. But I don't know if that includes the losing end or not. So it's at least 45 minutes of really good live music. Yeah, I'm rambling. Subscribe, like, share, comment, do those things. Thanks for watching. Peace. Talk to you later.